actually looking back, it's like yesterday. It feels like yesterday. Yet a lot has happened within the last 2 years. We cannot keep calm. We are two, not just terrible twos. We are not terrible twos. We are a blessed, a prosperous two, and we thank God for that. And so, in this minute now, we shall be reflecting back on the journey that has been the last 2 years. Flashback, December 2019, we went on air. Then in March, while everything else looked so gloomy, and everything was locked down and all that, and all this bad news about the pandemic, God gave us again a national coverage. How did it feel like? How does it feel like even today for such a reputable church like the PCA church to have a national and indeed an international TV? I will start with Omose.
Many thanks, Reverend Lucy. Looking at this situation, that after launching this station, that is on 29th December, then when it came to somewhere in February, March, COVID struck. And the TV was there. The TV went countrywide, and the gospel of Christ was actually preached all over. To me, it really summed up in one thing, that God has got this church at heart, and He has this television at heart. That's why He prepared it. God says that He sees what is yet to happen, and before it even happens, He doesn't make it to happen before the knowledge of His prophets. That's why He spoke to the church, to the leadership of the church, and really pressed them to come up with the television. And during that time, we remember we had our programming. We also had people following the sermons and preachings all over. So that was a very huge milestone, and also the hand of God was in it, and it really gives us that assurance that His hand is still in it, because this is His project.
Wonderful. It is His project indeed. Rev Tony Tuko, representing such a wide constituency of young people. How did it feel like? How does it feel like to belong to a church that has a TV station?
Oh wow, first of all, I usually try to convince the rest of the church that I'm the majority leader in the church, because when you look at the population of the country, it's 75% youth. Come on now, yeah. So and of course the last 2 years have been quite fantastic. I remember just about that time, the beginning of last year, and when the pandemic was raging, we usually say that in every desert of calamity, God has an oasis of hope. And that is sort of what Kirk'S TV became, because in a situation where things were looking very hopeless, and people were feeling depressed, and no gathering and all that, God provided an opportunity for the gospel, especially for the gospel to go out, and people could be able to hear the gospel right from their home. And church came back to the house. Like one of the news items has gone in, there's that Ikolomani project where they are training now the parents to even be able to do education from school, because family is everything. And Kirk'S TV was able to bring the PCA family for a start together, and to be able to offer an opportunity of fellowship through the media.
Wonderful, and indeed we'll get to the real Tuko on Kirk'S TV, because we want to hear about your experience. I mean, this whole time, let the little children come to me, and they could not be left out. How did it feel like, to head this great department and also to have a TV station at the same time?
Kwangu mimi nilikuja kugundua ya kwamba Mungu alikuwa na kusudi ambayo ilikuwa ya ajabu sana, ambayo hatukuwa tumeielewa, lakini Mungu alikuwa amekusudia. Wakati kulitangazwa ya kwamba kanisa halitakuweko juma lijayo, wakati ule ilikuwa kama giza imegubika kanisa. Hatujawahi sikia katika historia kanisa zimefungwa milango, na sasa watoto hawangeachwa nyuma. Kwa hivyo Mungu akatujalia tukaweza kuwa na kipindi cha kwanza kupeperushwa hewani cha kufunza watoto katika njia ya runinga. Kama Mungu hakuwa amefungua njia hii, sijui tungekuaje. Lakini asante kwa Maulana kwa kutupatia Kirk'S TV. Ilikuja kwa wakati ulio mwafaka kabisa, na tukaingia hewani. Hatukuwa tumezoea mambo haya ya kuwa kwa runinga, lakini hayawi huwa yakawa. Basi ikawa. Tukashukuru Mungu kabisa. Nakumbuka siku yangu ya kwanza kuingia katika studio, kile tarakilishi yangu ikafunga nikiwa katika program, na nikawa na hamaki, sijui nifanye nini, lakini Mola kwa sababu ya kusudi lake tuliendelea. Kwa hivyo ni baraka tele ambayo Mungu ametumiminia kama kanisa la Kipresbyterian.
Wow, makusudi yake Mungu.
Kabisa.
Allow me to switch to this other language. I don't want to dare that. Thank you very much. And now we have Baba Yao in the house, representing the other very, very important constituency of men, the men department. And of course, you run a program on PacTV, but we'll talk about that shortly. But for the men, how did they feel like?
Thank you, Rev. Lucy. I would love to say this was prophetic. This was timely. Imagine men staying at home without network, without knowing what is happening out there. And I would love to say the 2 years PacTV has given the family a great opportunity to realize that we are also equal to the task. One thing I noted when the lockdown came and we joined the new normal, and it appeared like life stalled. PacTV with other TV stations, but now PacTV made us proud to have one of our own. And so I would say PacTV has been a pride. The way when Kenya Airways came and through the journeys, we noted even one time we had to fly an aircraft direct to the United States. I thank God through PacTV we have had a direct way of reaching out to many people. So it's a great success.
Indeed, we thank God for that. Mr. Omuse, you were here right at the beginning, and 2 years down the lane. How would you compare, working in a Christian-based TV station? How has the experience been for you?
Many thanks. I think to me it's been a blessing if I speak at a personal capacity, and even to them that God has used me to reach. Having been brought up in a Christian background, I know it was still an intention of God for me to be here. Being here as an anchor, as a reporter, and as an editor, I've actually gotten that platform to do things right. You see, for instance, when we come up with a topic, when I'm handling a political topic, PacTV's editorial policy is that you remain neutral, you remain objective, in that you do not take side, and you lead a conversation that at the end of the conversation, what is the way forward? Yes, politician A has actually attacked politician B, and C has done this to politician C. Is it the right way to do things? How was it supposed to be done in the right way? God in himself, through his word, he actually promotes, or God advocates for good morals. And being in such a platform, I've actually gotten that opportunity to advocate and to be there to broadcast that which really offers the right and positive direction to the youth. This is a place I will wish to work for the next 100 years if God gives me life.
Wonderful, wonderful, and very well put. Now, how has PacTV impacted children ministry? And kindly tell us a bit about the program that you run.
Thank you very much. We have two programs that we run on PacTV. One is called Kakwa Toto program that comes on Saturday, though for now is on break. Iko Jikoni ya Pikwa for the season 2. And another one that comes that is on the morning of Sunday from saa 2 asubuhi up to saa 3. And we have had a very great impact with the children. By the way, I think that's among the best program that is watched in PacTV. Many children watch it, many parents watch it, and they are blessed. And it's a wonderful experience that we have gotten. And I'm telling you, watoto wamebarikiwa na watoto wameibua talanta zao. Kama juzi nilishangaa kuona jinsi ambavyo watoto wako na talanta ambazo ni za kipekee. Roho wa Mungu ameshuka kupitia kwa PacTV, wamesikia wako na nafasi ya kubobea katika taaluma hata ya kuwa katika runinga na katika media. So it is working miraculously in a way that you cannot even express by words. God is here. God is working. Yes.
Wow. God is at work. God is working.
Yes.
And God is not done with us yet.
Sure.
We thank God.
Answer, by the way.
Ndio anaanza. We thank God for that. Now, please help us sample the impact of PacTV in the Men Fellowship, but also in the Call Unto Me program, and you can introduce it to us.
Thank you. The year 2019, we got a great opportunity through PacTV to hold our national conference, the Leaders Conference. And we appreciate that PacTV, and that time I want to score Robert, who was assigned a great duty when PacTV did not have even that large crew. And having covered a whole week's proceedings in Nakuru, Mirere Resort, PacTV gave us a very rich platform to engage with the Men Fellowship, and that gave us a score. And we make sure every year when we have our National Leaders Conference, PacTV has to take a reading role. Secondly, with my co-host Reverend Elizabeth, we were tasked by the officials of the General Assembly one morning, and we were challenged. Rev Elizabeth, Rev Kyra, go seek God's direction and come up with a prayer program. And being amateurs in this area, how we will speak to the cameras, although we have had experiences through other media stations, we had to take time to pray. It was nervous, but finally, after prayer and God guiding us, going back to Jeremiah, and in that time of confinement, when Jeremiah was confined, God spoke to him, call unto me, that's Jeremiah chapter number 3 and verse 3, call unto me and I will answer you, and I will show you great and hidden things you do not know. And so under that guidance from prophet Jeremiah, the program was birthed, call unto me. And today, let me say here, 2 years down the line, many viewers, some are silent viewers. When I travel all over Kenya, they tell us every Wednesday, 8 to 9, 1 hour, engaging them in a platform where it is really building the capacity and the desire to pray. They say they are proud of PacTV. So here through Call Unto Me, we have achieved. Thank you.
And indeed, we continue being proud of this now. Our majority leader. How has this TV impacted youth ministry?
Yeah, thank you very much. Of course, it is good to appreciate that youth are people of media, whether it is mainstream media or social media. Primarily, when you look at the trends nowadays, there is very heavy emphasis on social media. But still, there is a substantial group that is still able to access their TV. And at the same time, the programs that are put on PacTV are streamed on YouTube and Facebook. And therefore, the youth are also able to get in there. Of course, one of the things that is there is that creation of youth content is quite a task, because youth are very diverse people. Then you have urban youth, you have rural youth, you have others who are just in between there, and then you have because when you talk about youth in the PCA Church, you're talking about people of the ages of 15 to 35. So you're talking about teenagers all the way to people who are married and have 2 kids or 3 kids, So it also becomes a sort of a challenge to be able to create a program that speaks to all of them. But we have endeavored to bring on board different facilitators, different speakers to cover different topics. We've also been able to cover during the National Youth Week or the national summits that you have had, the National Youth Conferences, to be able to bring in topics and discussions and engagements that speaks to every young person that is in the PCA Church. Moving forward, I think one of the things that can really help us to create content that speaks to the youth, to the core of the heart, is to be able to probably to have a consortium of some sort that is able to discuss the range of issues that matter to youth, together with the consideration of their own voice, their input into the same, so that moving forward into 2021, we can have Youth to Core Reloaded. Actually, Youth to Core was a sort of thing that we wanted to create a sort of identity, for the PCA youth, because youth knew how to, there are guys who don't like sometimes to stick on the main line of things. They like a sort of a loose culture that is not really bureaucratic and bound too much, that it's from here to here. Youth are people who like to stretch the rules and see to what extent can we be able to push the rules and still remain legal, And so we just wanted to come up with a sort of an identity, and that is where the brand Youth to Core came about. And we thank God because a lot of our young people in the church have been able to identify with the brand name.
And actually we are borrowing a lot of that brand name because all of us to Core. And indeed today we are in the celebration, and so let the celebrations continue. We thank God for these moments shared here, and indeed we celebrate that the Lord has been with us. So thank you very much. Over to you, Ida.